Hi everybody, it's Doc Horowitz here to introduce you to our next module. It's called Active Listening to Act as an Antidote to Defensive Behavior. This is a module that's going to deal essentially with communicating, let's call it bad news, to other individuals. They may be employees, friends, family members, customers, and inherently there's something very tricky about communicating bad news. Obviously, it's not a message most of us would like to hear, and therefore requires even more strategical planning in your delivery and remembering what your purpose is in communicating this type of news. Essentially, it's to get an employee or a friend or family member back on track after indulging in a certain behavior which is unacceptable or inappropriate, or in the workplace, violating the policy, for example. Now, this strategy that is most employed, called active listening, is not an easy one to indulge in. It requires, number one, an awful lot of patience, a lot of practice, and a recognition that this issue that you're communicating is not about you, it's about the employee, if you will, and again, getting them back on track. Now, the most important element involved in active listening is that at the end of your bad news communication, that you are able to maintain a positive relationship above all else with that individual. Now, why is active listening in itself, or what is it, and why is it so difficult? Well, if you're like me and you come from a place like New York, and specifically the Bronx, most of us didn't even know there was a skill called listening, because our national pastime was talking, as I'm kind of doing now. And for the most part, we engage in our conversations with the mantra of, can I out-talk the other person? So that listening never really became an element in the communication process at all. But over the years, I learned to understand the importance of actually listening, so much so that today I consider it to be the most important communication skill of all, because it's the ultimate acknowledgement to another individual that you are fully focused, you are seeking to understand before seeking to be understood, which is a main principle of cultural proficiency, which has been a theme throughout our course. So without getting too much of our story away, I've got a lot of activities, from videos and demonstrations and rules of the road for how to have effective communications that usually are in the negative arena, but how to come away with a resolved issue, and more importantly, a strong relationship with that individual. Coming up next, active listening, the antidote to defensive behavior.